Maybe you've noticed it yourself. A morning when you felt a little heavy, a little clouded, and then somewhere along the way you stepped outside. Just a short walk, around the block, down a familiar street. And by the time you came back, something had shifted. You felt a little lighter. It's one of those things many of us sense without being told. Walking helps us feel better. But what is it about walking exactly that lifts the spirit? And why might the simple act matter more as we grow older? Today, I want to spend a few quiet minutes with you exploring this question. Not with complicated explanations, but with curiosity. And with what thoughtful researchers have been learning over the years. Let's begin with the most basic observation. Walking, especially when done at a comfortable pace, appears to be good for our mood. A large systematic review published in 2024 in JAMA Network Open, led by Bruno Bizzozero Peroni and colleagues, gathered evidence from 33 studies involving over 96,000 adults. They found that people who walked more steps each day reported fewer symptoms of depression. Even modest increases mattered. An increase of just 1,000 steps per day was associated with a lower risk of depression. The researchers noted that reaching 5,000 steps or more seemed to mark a meaningful threshold for emotional well-being. What strikes me about this finding is its simplicity. We are not talking about intense exercise or complicated programs. We are talking about putting one foot in front of the other and doing it again tomorrow. Now, here is the first key idea I want to share. Walking at a moderate pace, not too fast and not too slow, seems to be particularly beneficial for older adults. A study published in 2021 in the journal Gerontology and Geriatric Medicine by Ariam Han and colleagues examined leisure walking among adults over 65. They found that moderate intensity walking was most strongly associated with better mental health. Walking vigorously did not appear to offer additional benefits for mood, and in some cases, it was less helpful than walking at a comfortable, steady pace. This is reassuring. You don't have to push yourself until you're out of breath. A calm, unhurried walk, the kind where you might notice the shape of a tree or hear the sound of a bird, may be just right. The second idea takes us outside, into the world around us. Researchers have discovered that where you walk matters nearly as much as whether you walk at all. A pilot study published in 2020 in Frontiers in Public Health, led by Jenny Rowe and colleagues at the University of Virginia, asked older adults from an independent living community to take short walks on two different routes. One route passed through a busy commercial street with traffic and noise. The other route moved through a quieter neighborhood with front gardens, street trees, and less commotion. The researchers measured how the participants felt before and after each walk. They found that walking through the greener, quieter route led to a greater improvement in mood. Participants reported feeling more positive after the green walk compared to the gray walk. This echoes earlier research. In 2011, Jenny Rowe and Peter Aspinall published a study in the journal Health and Place, comparing walks in urban and rural settings among adults with varying mental health. They found that the rural walk through natural landscapes was consistently advantageous for mood restoration. Interestingly, those who were struggling most with their mental health seemed to benefit the most from walking in nature. So there is something about trees, gardens, quiet streets, and green space that adds a layer of restoration beyond the walking itself. It is as if nature offers a kind of gentle invitation to the mind to relax. The third idea brings us to companionship. A systematic review and meta-analysis published in 2015 in the British Journal of Sports Medicine by Sarah Hansen and Andy Jones examined the health benefits of outdoor walking groups. They looked at 42 studies involving over 1,800 participants, representing more than 70,000 hours of group walking. The findings showed that people who walked with others experienced meaningful reductions in depression symptoms. Walking groups also showed good adherence, meaning people kept coming back, and there were no notable adverse effects. There's something important here. When we walk with others, even if we don't talk much, we share a rhythm. We step together. We acknowledge each other's presence. For older adults who may face shrinking social circles as the years pass, a walking group can offer a quiet form of connection. Let me pause here for a moment and share something more personal. I think often about a neighbor I once had, a retired school teacher in her 70s. She lived alone and her days had grown quieter after her husband passed. For a long time, she rarely went out except for errands. Then, one spring, she joined a small walking group that met twice a week at the local park. She told me once that she didn't really think the walking would change much, but after a few months, she seemed different. She smiled more easily. She started gardening again. She said the walks weren't long or strenuous, but they gave her a reason to get dressed, to step outside, to say good morning to someone. I remember her saying, "It's not the exercise, it's the expectation, knowing someone will be there." That stayed with me, because I think what she was describing is something the research hints at, but can't fully capture. It's not just about steps or heart rates or green space. It's about feeling like you belong somewhere, like the day has a shape, like you're still part of the living world. So, let me offer a gentle summary. First, walking at a moderate pace, comfortably and without strain, is associated with fewer depressive symptoms in older adults. Even small increases in daily steps seem to matter. Second, the environment makes a difference. Walking through quieter, greener spaces appears to offer additional benefits for mood restoration. Nature seems to help the mind settle. Third, walking with others adds a layer of social connection. Walking groups may support both mental and physical well-being, with good adherence and no notable risks. None of this is a prescription. I'm not a clinician, and research can never tell us exactly what will happen for each individual. But these findings offer a kind of quiet encouragement. If you've been thinking about taking a short walk, perhaps through a park or down a tree-lined street, perhaps with a friend or a small group, the evidence suggests you might be doing something genuinely kind for yourself. As we close, I want to leave you with a small thought. Walking is one of the oldest human activities. Our ancestors walked across continents, and still, after all these millennia, this simple act remains a gift, a way to move through the world, a way to feel, step by step, that we are still here. Next time, we'll explore how small changes in the places we live can support our well-being as we age. Until then, I hope you find a moment, whenever it feels right, to step outside.